Ainz Ooal Gown, formerly known as Mamanga, is the main protagonist of the Overlord series. He is the guild master of the Ainz Ooal Gown Guild, Overlord of the Great Tomb of Nazarick, and the creator of Pandora's Actor. He is considered the highest of the almighty 41 supreme beings by the NPCs of Nazarick. In the New World, he is the Sorcerer King of the Sorcerer Kingdom and the most powerful magic caster in the world. His other identity is known as Mammon, a dark warrior and leader of darkness, a group of adventurers classified as adamantite of that nation. He is an adventurer also of adamantite class, as well as the strongest known adventurer in Irantal. Ainz Ooal Gown presents the figure of a supreme lord, a non-living skeletal entity devoid of skin and muscle tissues. He usually wears formal attire of jet black hue, adorned with gold and violet details. In the absence of clothing, his anatomy consists solely of his bones. In addition, he possesses a dark red orb that floats beneath his ribs, emitting a sense of dread. Additionally, it emits faint dark red flashes from the depths of its empty eye sockets. Occasionally, these flashes can intensify greatly, resulting in the appearance of faint reddish flames flickering in his hollow eyes. Also, Ainz features a dark halo-like object that glows just behind his head. When he transforms into the Dark Warrior Mammon, Ainz wears full jet black armor decorated with inscriptions in shades of purple and gold, accompanied by a red cape in homage to Touch Me. He carries two imposing swords strapped to his back. Although Ainz is a cautious and thrifty person, he always seeks to plan ahead and control the details beforehand to avoid any eventuality that could jeopardize Nazarick's survival. This involves tricking the inhabitants of the New World into believing that he cannot use one of his level superior spells for years to come after he has employed it once. Since being transferred to the New World and becoming a true leash, Ainz has undergone a remarkable transformation, becoming more cold and calculating while suppressing his emotions. As the leader of the Ainz Ooal Gown Guild, he enjoys remembering the wise words of his guild comrades, as they might have some relevance now in the New World, a fact that the NPCs also wholeheartedly accept. Being loyal to his friends and the NPCs created by them, he acts with a certain nobility in properly directing his devoted followers, presenting himself as a sort of godlike figure. This is to ensure that they have a supreme being to look up to and depend on, since he is the ruler of the Great Tomb of Nazarick and the last supreme being who remains with them even after their creators have abandoned them. Ainz cares for them as a father would, showing special attention towards Pandora's Actor and his friends NPCs. When he was crowned king of his newly founded country, the Sorcerer Kingdom, this quality also played a key role in earning the loyalty of his subjects. For example, Guildmaster Ainz describes Ainz as a rational person who makes wise decisions with care, instructing him to be an intellectual yet compassionate ruler. Furthermore, Ainz is open to the opinions of others about his actions, appreciating criticism and learning from his mistakes, where the floor guardians might not be able to help him too much. Furthermore, Ainz not only considers himself thoughtful and generous, but also values the people who work for him, kindly rewarding them with Yggdrasil items for their hard work. At the same time, Ainz is true to his words and oaths, and willingly accepts certain conditions set by others in the form of promises which he keeps to a high degree without betraying them. He has a benevolent inclination toward ruling his nation peacefully, without bloodshed, believing that there is still room for negotiation. However, at times Ainz feels paranoid and pessimistic about the possibility that his floor guardians or other loyal NPCs will abandon or betray him if he does not live up to their expectations. However, he only takes actions that benefit Nazarick or himself above all else, whether in terms of information or prestige. Although he has a sense of justice and does not feel as much hatred towards humans as his followers do, Ainz does not feel deep affection for them and is not moved by their death. Ainz does not regard humanity as an enemy, but he can kill humans without hesitation if necessary to achieve his goals. However, he wants to avoid conflict with other players, especially those who are human and might protect his own species. After killing Shaltir with his own hands, he became much more vigilant and hostile towards players or other enemies with objects in the world that could harm Nazarick in the near future. Besides Nazarick's NPCs, the only players that Ainz really cares about are his former comrades. On the other hand, Ainz has a competitive side, and the actions of players within the New World motivate him to not fall behind in terms of technological development. Likewise, everything he does is for the good of Ainz Ooal Gown, the Great Tomb of Nazarick, and the Sorcerer's Realm. For this reason, Ainz is secretive about any information he may have acquired, refusing to reveal anything that might serve Nazarick's interests. Since Ainz greatly values knowledge, he likes to participate in random experiments for the sole purpose of obtaining valuable information about the inhabitants of the New World, the martial arts, magic, items, and even their way of life and religion. In his role as a dark warrior as Mammon, people consider him a worthy adamantite adventurer who does not wish to cause discomfort to others. True to his nature, Mammon is also very loyal and honorable, refusing Fyria's request of the Swords of Darkness, prioritizing his duty before anything else. Although he trusts his comrades, he refuses to accept outside help if it would slow down his work. Much less would he use some of his free time to greet every group of adventurers in the kingdom of Riestaiz. Out of respect for his fellow adventurers, he prefers that the rewards be shared equally among all those who participated in stopping the disturbance in Riestaiz. History. In the year 2138, before adopting the name Ainz Ooal Gown in the New World, Mamonda was his original name as a player in Yggdrasil. However, in real life, he was a human named Suzuki Satoru. Whenever Suzuki walked from his home to work, he wore a filtering air mask and goggles to avoid being affected by the toxic air outside. At some point in his life, Suzuki lost his mother due to exhaustion from overworking herself to her death. This tragic event occurred in the kitchen of Suzuki's home, where she collapsed on the floor. She was trying to prepare her favorite dish before this unfortunate event occurred. She clearly remembers witnessing this upon waking up one morning. On the other hand, Suzuki Satoru is a college graduate and a salaryman living alone in a rundown apartment. Since Mamonda has no family or friends to support him, he devoted his entire life to the MMORPG, Yggdrasil, and exclusively to his guild. His life consisted of an endless cycle of going to the office to work. Memories of time spent with his friends as members of Ainz Ooal Gown were all he had in the game. Mamonda's daily sustenance for the game even went to the point of using most of the money he earned from his job. Although his income was limited, he was still able to stay above the poverty line. Mamonda had a considerable balance in his bank accounts, but he did not know how to spend that money. In the end, it became clear that Mamonda had spent almost a third of his monthly salary on gambling cash purchases. Ainz Ooal Gown. When Mamonda first started playing Yggdrasil, it was common for players to kill heteromorphic races. At that time, he was one of the targets hunted down and killed by pikers, from Player Killer, a person who is dedicated to killing players several times. Fed up with the harsh treatment, he was on the verge of quitting the game until Touch Me's words saved him. In the anime, he is shown surrounded by a group of pikers in an attempt to take him down as they taunt his character, Avatar. However, just as they were about to kill Mamonda, Touch Me suddenly came to his rescue and defeated them simultaneously. Since then, Mamonda and Touch Me befriended 7 other players like them to form the first 9, which started as a PvP/Piker guild known as Ainz Ooal Gown. At some point during a meeting with his clan members, Touch Me thought of disbanding Ainz Ooal Gown, as he wanted to form a guild and recommended Mamonda as its leader. Once the guild was disbanded and the members present accepted Mamonda as guild master, he and his friends created the official guild called Ainz Ooal Gown. Acting as guild master of Ainz Ooal Gown, Mamonda now had the responsibility of carrying out various tasks, such as communicating with guild members. Guild leader of Ainz Ooal Gown Guild. Right after the guild was created, Mamonda led Ainz Ooal Gown and its members to an unknown dungeon called the Great Tomb of Nazarick thanks to the efforts of his friend, Nishiki and Rai, to locate it. Thanks to Mamonda's leadership and collaboration with his guild members, they were able to conquer the Great Tomb of Nazarick, and soon after, they also acquired a world item called Throne of Kings while clearing the dungeon. The dungeon would later become the base of the future Ainz Ooal Gown Guild as they faced the invasion of players trying to intervene in their location. On the other hand, there were other players who began to see the guild of heteromorphic races as evil beings that had to be defeated at all costs. Therefore, members of the Ainz Ooal Gown Guild, including Mamonda, thought it appropriate for them to become true monsters. During the players' invasion of their guild base, it was suggested that Albert also thought that they should act as final bosses if the enemies managed to reach them. During those years, Mamonda and his guildmates devoted most of their work and effort to building their guild weapon known as the Staff of Ainz Ooal Gown. In addition to that, Mamonda and his guildmates created their own custom NPCs, Pandora's Actor being one of them. He had Pandora's Actor not only retain the identity of Ainz Ooal Gown, but also serve to protect the guild's treasure. However, nearly 37 of his 41 guildmates left the game altogether, leaving the guild and transferring their players' equipment to Momonga. Not only did they leave the game, but they also completely deleted their character's avatar due to real-world problems faced by their guild members. He would then store most of his fellow guild members' equipment in the treasury for safekeeping. Momonga also created all avatars in the likeness of his guildmates who left the game. Before they left the guild in Yggdrasil, Momonga used to go straight home after work every day to log into the MMORPG before everyone else. This was during the time when the guild was still active with many members online. There, he would start making preparations in Nazarick before his fellow members logged on. He would summon numerous undead for protection and hire NPC mercenaries to hunt monsters in order to fund Nazarick. Extremely dedicated to the game, he used to play alone most of the time when his companions were offline or inactive in Yggdrasil. As most of his guild members had already left the MMORPG, Momonga continued to stay behind and kept his guild base running. He began solo hunting and farming resources by himself to an almost ridiculous degree to earn the gold needed to maintain the Great Tomb of Nazarick. The dungeon appeared to be in excellent condition according to Hiro, as he apparently noticed Momonga's efforts to maintain it as guild master. Hiro believed that Momonga's devotion to maintaining the dungeon during this time was the hope that one day his peers would return to the game and play with him again. Because of that, he didn't bother to build new friendships with other players and avoided them in the high difficulty areas he used to visit when his guild members were still around. Then, he would deposit his winnings into the treasury before logging off. This had been his almost daily routine. As a result, he didn't have much contact with some of the NPCs and hardly knew anything about them until now. However, the tedious work Momonga has put into financially maintaining his guild base has paid off, as no player was able to conquer the Great Tomb of Nazarick even after the game was closed. This also applied to the amount of times and efforts he put forth in the game to prevent the guild's once 9th rank from dropping beyond 29th as its current ranking. In terms of strength, Momonga did it all by himself, as he was the only manpower that was active on a daily basis within the guild. In the web novel, Ainz was thought to be one of the 13 heroes. Momonga is renamed as Ainz Ooal Gown so that guild members or players may know of his existence. Nigan of the Sunlight Scripture believes that Ainz's true identity is one of the evil deities. Under his adventurer persona as Mammon, he has the nickname Dark Hero, which refers to his black plate armor and heroic combat prowess. Evil Eye speculated that Mammon is a godkin, beings with the blood of players in their veins. Due to their display of power that surpasses humans, she thinks of players as a race, possibly of gods. The cardinal of the slain theocracy has almost mistaken it for one of the 6 great gods, Surshana, known as the god of death, but quickly dismisses that idea. Both the villagers of Flesh Village and the Lizard Man tribes of the Great Lake have built their own statue of Ainz Ooal Gown as a sign of loyalty to him. Due to Ainz's illusion spell, the Swords of Darkness believe that, judging from his facial appearance, people like him are common in a place in the south. Leaving aside his skill as a player, Ainz's character build can only be considered at the top of the average level of all players. Ainz's physical attack power would be around that of a level 30 warrior in terms of Yggdrasil. However, that was greatly affected by spells and equipment, so it is unknown. As a level 100 magic caster, Ainz was pretty sure that not only in terms of stats but also skills and even tactics, he was estimated to be about the equivalent of a level 33 warrior in comparison. After using the perfect warrior spell to become a level 100 warrior, Ainz's stats far surpassed Shaltir, who was not a pure warrior. In exchange for all her magic spellcaster abilities, this transformation would grant her overwhelming power and dexterity as a level 100 warrior, but with no spells or class abilities to use. Although the environment would not have succumbed to its effect on Yggdrasil, the goal of all life is death used in the new worldview. All things are equal in the face of death. Using this special ability with Banshee's Cry, the air that was not even alive to begin with fell into death. For over 100 meters in all directions, the air was no longer breathable. If any living creature tried to breathe within that area, their lungs would be corrupted by the deadly air and they would die. Nor did the land escape the embrace of death. The land within 100 meters was instantly transmuted into a sand-filled desert. In other words, the air and the earth had been killed by this effect. With real-life experiences from when he was human, Ainz uses his business skills from the past times being a former company employee to better manage the sorcerer realm, similar to a company he has worked in before. It is what helped him to make good negotiable trade deals with the Adventurers Guild and the Dwarven Kingdom, where he has successfully secured them. Momonga also had the ability to infuse negative energy through touch, but could not heal undead. Apparently, Apparently, he could heal undead by touch during the first week of the game's release, but then this was immediately patched. If no spell could affect an enemy while time was stopped, then all one had to do was delay the activation of the spell until such time as the stop time ended. Although a simple combo attack in theory, the trick is to get the timing right, which was extremely difficult. As such, only about 5% of all magic users could pull it off. After much training and practice, Ainz was in that 5% as well. According to Maruyama, it is absolutely necessary to have time-stopping and instant kill measures to take on Ainz in a fair fight. I hope you liked the video. If you want me to bring a video about your anime character, comment it. Don't forget to check the videos of the channel. See you in the next video.